Hello, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you another variation using the Solomon's knot, aka the lover's knot. This time, this is the triangular format, as you can see. And it starts in the corner right down here, and then works its way up, gradually increasing in size, etc., etc. Now, I strongly suggest checking out my first video on the Solomon's knot because it will help vastly, I think, as far as understanding how this stitch works. Also, in spite of its similarities, there is a little bit of double backing, which can be a little bit tricky, but it is definitely something that you can do. I have every bit of confidence in you, my dears. But I do think that as far as getting the basics underway, I would suggest going to the initial video that I did. I'm going to put a link to the description in the description box down below, and then going about tackling this guy. Now, I used, again, Caron Cakes for this piece, and I used, again, a size I crochet hook, 5.5 millimeter. You can use whatever it is that works for you, naturally. But I always like to let you know what it is that I use so that you can get an idea. Now, obviously, this is a really lovely lacy piece. It's far more decorative and fanciful than it is functional, but it is lovely. And I think that this would make an absolutely darling piece, whether for the warm weather or perhaps over, a blouse or something for evening wear. I just absolutely love it. And these colors, they just scream the summertime. I absolutely love it. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, now in the initial video that I did for the Solomon's knot, I did a little diagram, and I'm doing another one because this, like I said, it follows the same suit, but with some slight variations. Now here, right here, is actually where we start, this circle right here. And we're creating the Solomon's knots, which, yes, I'm going to show you how to do. Don't fret. And in the last one, it was a matter of creating these diamond shapes, starting with a long base chain and then zigzagging your way and then going up and then zigzagging your way and so forth. Now, this one is a little bit different because of the shape of it. You need to double back. So what I mean by that is starting here, we create our initial square shape, our initial diamond shape. Then we need to create two more, right? Well, going up, down, up, and then over, down, up, down. Then we need to connect it to itself. So going back down here, this one right here. Then we need to double back. So there's going to be two loops side by side. And so we need to go back upwards, right? So then going up, over, down, connecting to that point right here, then up, down, and then connecting to this initial point. But then we need to double back again. So that's hence the two loops here. So then going upwards and over and around, and so forth. And then you just, finish off by completing a diamond shape. This will make more sense as we go through it, but I just want to give you sort of an overall picture as to how this pattern will work. Now, I know this looks like crazy chicken scratch, but it will make more sense as we go on. Trust me. So again, without further ado, let's get into the stitching. Alrighty. Alrighty, so I've got my size I crochet hook and I've got some worsted weight yarn, and let's get into this. Alright, so starting in with a slip knot and a chaining of 2 and a single crochet into that first chain right there. That's what's going to start us off, just like with the initial tutorial that I did on this. And we're going to need a total of 4 Solomon's knots. So going to raise up my loop here and insert my thumb, pull through that loop, and then going underneath, pulling through, and single crochet right there. Boom. Solomon's knot. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, there are a lot of different ways in which you can do this. However, I found that using the thumb placement as a means of gauging how big your knots should be, your Solomon's knots should be, it creates a rather uniform way of creating them. And I found that it works for me, and hopefully it will either work for you or inspire you to find a method that works for you. And just one more. And bada bing, bada boom, we have our initial 4. All right, so we have 4, and that makes up a diamond, correct? Correct. All right, so then basically it's a matter of going into this first single crochet right here with a single crochet. Just going directly and creating our diamond, a complete circuit, if you will, with a single crochet. And so we have our diamond. Let me just get my tail out of the way there. All right, so we have our diamond. Okay, and we're going to continue on with our second tier of diamonds. Alrighty. Alrighty, so for the second tier of diamonds, now keeping in mind that it's on the side here, as I showed before in the diagram, this is our starting point, okay? And so this right here is one of our sides. We need 3 more sides to create a diamond, right? So we need to do 3 more Solomon's knots. So we've got 1, we've got 2, and we have almost 3. Okay, so like I said, we need to connect it as such. So we're going to do that with a single crochet. So it helps to turn the work, keeping in mind that this little bit right here is going to stay there, and we're going to connect to the top right here. Also, be sure that, because you have your 1 loop and then your 2 loops, if the 2 loops are facing upward, it's a lot easier for you to find your single crochet to work into, right? Like so, right here. Right there. And so a single crochet right into there. So now we have a total of 2 diamonds. And again, we have this one side right here. Well, we need to create 1, 2, and 3 sides to create our second diamond. So it's a matter of 3 more Solomon's knots. So that's 1. And 2. And 1 more. Makes 3. All right, so we have to connect to this side, this corner right here, right there. So going right in with a single crochet. Also, I'm going to stress this again, that instead of trying to follow along as I do it, it might help if you watch, and then after you're done watching, then try to do it as I do it. You know, just a little helpful hint. Okay, so let me just lay this out. Like so. Don't want to lose my my loop there. All right, so as you can see, we have our initial square. This is where I started in this corner here. And so we now have one in the base and then 2 tiers. Now we have to do that double backing, right? Because this loop right here, what I need to do is I need to go from here back up to this point here. Up to this point right here. And then we will continue on by creating 1, 2, and then 3, connecting to the top right here. I know this sounds a little odd, but it'll make more sense as we go on. Trust me. All right, so we're going to go in, we're going to double back, and then we are going to create the 3rd tier of diamonds. All right. Alrighty, so I'm all set to do my 3rd tier. So, going right in with 1 Solomon's knot so that we can double back. Turn the work and single crochet into this knot right here. So it's 2 Solomon's knots right next to each other. Also, it may help in the long run for your double back loops to be perhaps a little bit longer and a little bit looser so that one isn't shorter than the other. You know, it's easy to have a problem with that. So again, right here we have 1 side. Well, we need 3 more sides and then connect to this apex right here. So we need 3 more Solomon's knots. So that is 1 and 2 and 3, and then connecting to the top of this diamond right here, right into the single crochet with a single crochet. Okay. And now we have ourselves a ravine, so we need to go up and down, connecting to this point right here. So we need 2 Solomon's knots so that we can bridge the gap. So that's 1. And 2. And creating a bridge, skipping over, going into this single crochet with a single crochet. Okay, and last but not least, we have 1 side of the 4 that we need. So we need to create 1, 2, and then 3, connecting to this point right here. And then for the next tier, we will double back yet again, but we're just going to finish up this tier right now. So it's a total of 3 Solomon's knots that are needed. So that's 1, 2, 3, okay, and then connecting to this point right down in here. Right there. Okay, let me lay it out for you again in the hopes that this makes sense, because I know that it can be a little bit weird because this is not by any means conventional, but absolutely love the technique and I really wanted to share it with you guys. All right, so again, we started down here and then we had 2, and right here is where we did our double backing, okay? And then we continued on up and around, over, and then around and down, connecting to this point. So for the next tier, again, we're going to need to double back, going from this point connecting to this point, and then another 3 more so that we can go up, over, and down, connecting to this point, and then up and over, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to do a couple of these tiers with you because I really want to make sure that you got it. And the results, as you can see, it works up really, really fast. And you can use really whatever, kind of yarn and hook you want to. Just keep in mind, yes, it is going to be excessively lacy, but that's part of the charm, I think. All right, so let's continue on with the next tier. Okay. Alrighty, so we need to do our double backing, so we just need 1 Solomon's knot to begin with. Turn the work. And we need to connect to this point right here with a single crochet, of course. Okay, then we need 3 more Solomon's knots because this is one side of the 4, so we need 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we need to connect to this point right here with a single crochet. There we are. And then we need to bridge the gap to this point, so we need just 2 more Solomon's knots. One and 2. Okay, connecting to this point right here. Single crochet. Oops, hello. There we go. And then we need to connect to this point, so 2 more Solomon's knots. One. 2. All right, and going to connect to this point. There we are. And then we need 1 more, and we have 1 side, so we need to create 3 more Solomon's knots and then connect to this point on the edge here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then connect to this point right down here. Okay, and that's the end of this tier. And it is really starting to become more obvious and take more shape, as you can see, because we went from 1 diamond to 2 to 3, and then 1, whoops, hello, 1, 2, 3, and 4 diamonds. Okay, so I'm going to do at least another one, and hopefully you can see just how it is starting to take shape. All right, so we're going to go in and we're going to do our double backing and continue right along. Okay. Alrighty, so I've got my loop down here, but we need to double back to this point right here. So going right in, going to do 1 Solomon's knot so that we can do our double back. So going right in with the 1 knot, turn the work, and then connect to this loop right here with a single crochet. All right. And so right now we have 1 side, so we need 3 more. So 3 more Solomon's knots to go. 1, 2, 3, and then we need to connect to this point right here with another single crochet. There we go. And now we need to bridge the gap to this point. So 2 more Solomon's knots. To this point right here. And then bridging the gap to this point right here. So 2 more Solomon's knots. Okay. So connecting right here. All right. 2 more Solomon's knots. 1 and 2. Connecting to this point right here. And then we've reached the end point here, so we need, because we have 1 side here, we need 3 more in order to connect to this end point right here. So that's 1. And, oops, hello. I lost my loop. And 2. And 3. All right, so I've got my 3 loops, and then need to connect to this point right here. To complete our last diamond. All right. And the funny thing about this pattern is that, yes, it has a tendency of, if you pull it from end to end, it's like, oh, it's all contracted. But when it's let to be lacy, it does drape. Now, also, another thing that I would suggest perhaps is if you are to make this piece, something that you may want to consider is to create some weight so that it'll hang down more, is at these points here, along this underside, give me one moment here. Along this underside here and here, what you may want to do is at these points where you have the single crochets, add a tassel, and that'll create some weight so that'll be more inclined to, gravity will do its thing more, so that it'll drape more, as opposed to bunching up like it can do like this. Just an idea. Or you could add fringe, not just to these single crochet points, but also a couple of loops of fringe per Solomon's knot. It's just an idea. You know, again, it's all about trying to think outside of the box, okay? And so I'm going to do one more of these tiers with you because I love spending time with you, and I really want to make sure that you get the process of this because this is a lovely pattern and I would love for you to give it a try. All right, so one more to go. Alrighty. Alrighty, so to do the next tier, of course, it's just a matter of one Solomon's knot because we need to double back just as we have been. So it's one Solomon's knot, turn the work like so, and connect to this loop, this single crochet right there, so that we can do our double backing. There we go, like so. And then we need 3 more Solomon's knots. 1 and 2 and, oops, 3. And then bridging the gap, going to this point right here. Got our first diamond right there. Da, 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 da. Okay, so then we need to bridge the gap to this point right here. So 2 more Solomon's knots. Okay, like so. And then connecting to this point, as I said. Two more Solomon's knots. All right, and then connect to this point right here. With a single crochet. Okay, 2 more. Connect to this point. There we are. 2 more Solomon's knots. All right, I missed that one. Got all tangled up. Sorry. So I've got 1 and 2. All right, and connect to this point right here. And then last but not least, we need to connect to this end point here, right? So I need 3 more Solomon's knots at the end. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then connect to this corner point right here. Alrighty. And you can do this process as many times as you want to so that you can have a really lovely piece of your own. So I'm just gonna fiddle with this for one moment. And there you have it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. However, yes, it does take a bit of practice, and it does take a bit of finagling, if you will. However, if you keep at it and if you practice, you too can do this, by all means. But like I said, it may behoove you to try watching this first and then trying to do it as you go. Okay. Also, I can't stress enough that it might be easier if you check out the first video that I did on this technique in order to get the mechanics of this process. But this is a really fun variation of the one that I did before, and I wanted to share it with you guys because you guys are awesome, and I really hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit that little thumbs up button down below. And also, I would love to hear your comments. Naturally, you guys are so awesome. And also, if you want to see more, please hit subscribe because I try to post videos as often as I can, whether it be crocheting or knitting, audiobook narrations, or on my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games. I do video game commentary. It's a lot of fun, and would like to see what you think about that too. Anywho, so until next time, I want you all to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys just so very much. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.